The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
Welcome back. We had a lot of news today from not just from Ukraine, but we also had non-farm payrolls come in. They've been a lot better than expected. So joining us now to discuss the markets is, of course, Michele Schneider, managing partner at MarketGauge Group. Welcome, Michele.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, as I mentioned, we had this non-farms payroll number come in for February. It was nothing short of phenomenal. We're looking at 678,000 new jobs. It was 440 or so thousand that was expected. The unemployment rate was 0.1% better than expected. It's now 3.8%. We're near maximum employment here, but we just started a war, or a war just started at the end of February, and oil prices have skyrocketed. Are we out of the woods yet? And are we going to see more rate hikes down the road? Or do you think that maybe the Fed might curtail what it's going to do?
I think the Fed has huge issues in front of them, and I'm really concerned that they have been so behind in doing what they needed to do to curb this inflation. They're going to have to raise, but they can't jack it up too much because they can see the results of that in a vulnerable economy. Even though the jobs rate was great, one thing that was left out there was the wages. And yes, the wages have increased year to year, but month to month, they actually really went down compared to the estimates. So now what do you have here? You have such a terrible situation of raising rates, raising inflation, but wages stay flat or even down. You know, a lot of people are starting to call for a recession because they don't believe the Fed can control this. And this type of scenario with runaway inflation in the past has led to a recession. So as far as the Fed goes, yeah, they're going to raise, but what are they going to do? 0.25%, maybe 0.5%, because obviously we can see what's going on here with commodities. But even that's not really going to be enough, especially if you look back historically what Volcker did. He sent the economy into a recession to curb inflation. I don't think Powell's going to do that.
So how is that? How do you see?
Well, I was going to say, we were probably going to ask the same question, which is, how does this translate into the currency markets?
Well, it's interesting. First of all, cryptocurrency in the last week, since we talked, actually, Lawrence, last time, Bitcoin's up about 14.5% since then, maybe a little off now today. But it really entered the stage on a political standpoint this week because of what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. Obviously, the donations into Ukraine, Kraken saying that they wanted to remain more neutral so that Russia can still continue to use cryptocurrency. And I find this also fascinating in how crypto is evolving just over time. You know, we obviously retail investors have been adopting it, and now institutional investors more and more. You know, we had some big news this week with Berkshire Hathaway. So I think that this is something that is so fascinating to keep an eye on right now. And in terms of Bitcoin, we're consolidating here in a pretty decent range between, let's say, 40 and 46. We get through 46. It looks good. We break 40. Maybe we head back down to 35. But I think what we're seeing here now is that crypto is going to take a much bigger role, like I said, globally and into the whole geopolitics than anybody would have expected.
Yeah. So, Michele, we are seeing an uptick in transaction volumes and cryptocurrencies, especially in Russia and Ukraine. So I'm wondering, are you leaning toward the narrative that Bitcoin is being used as a safe haven or a risk asset like tech stocks?
I think it's kind of schizophrenic right now, trying to decide what it wants to be when it grows up. I think on some levels, what we're seeing is with Russia being able to skirt the system using crypto because of the fact that, you know, obviously it's deregulated and decentralized, means that we can see this as a hedge on one level, but we're also seeing some pressure in terms of the retail space. When the market goes down, then we start to see retail selling in the cryptocurrency. And I don't think the footing is completely there. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that cryptocurrency will remain more of a hedge as opposed to a risk on or risk off type of instrument, but it's not quite there yet. It's figuring it out. And then there are other currencies, by the way, in the crypto market that are doing relatively well. So there's also a switch in terms of where to follow. Like, for example, Wrapped Lunar, which is done really amazing. It's consolidating between 85 and 100, gets through 100. I think it'll continue to go higher. We're long that. We've already taken some profit.